I feel like many people have been conditioned to believe that the only video games that are worth their time or money are the ones that cost the least, and that can keep them coming back over and over again. While it's easy to understand why people think this way with games like League of Legends, CSGO, and Dota, which are almost all free if not inexpensive, don't you think it's a bit unrealistic to expect that if you're paying near full price for a game, that you're going to come back to it every week or so? Getting tired of games is normal, and to expect League of Legends depth in a video game that has had nowhere near the amount of time or money poured into it is again a little bit unrealistic. Now I ain't saying go out there and buy every new Call of Duty, but if you're gonna go ahead and say a game looks fun, only to not buy it because it's a game you can't sink 900 hours into, I mean that's pretty sad. Games do cost a lot of money, and rightly so, they cost a lot to make. It's easy to understand why people are so protective of their money, but I've been experiencing this far too often where I play 1 or 2 games with my friends and get burnt out on those games pretty quick, and it often leads to me hating them. The games, not my friends of course. However, once I started expanding the games I play regularly, that's where I found that I could spend more time in one game and feel great knowing that I had other options. I wasn't chained to one game. It also made me realize that I wasn't tired of playing video games. That's nearly impossible. Video games are one of the greatest mediums of all time, and there was just nothing else to top it. No, it was the games that I was spending time in. Believe it or not, League of Legends isn't the funnest game out there. There's a lot of downtime, you don't always get to play the most mentally engaging role, etc, etc. But it's free and it's something that all of my friends can play, so why not, right? It's something that's easy to fall into, right? Well, League is free and I can have some fun in it, I guess. Playing only League of Legends every day and saying that you're tired of playing video games is like having baked beans in a can for the rest of your life and saying that you're tired of eating food. You get what you pay for in this case. If you don't spend money on good food, you're going to eat like shit for the rest of your life. League of Legends is the ramen noodles of gaming, right? It's inexpensive and sort of tasty, but makes you feel like shit if you eat it every day. Now, I don't want to shit on people who genuinely enjoy League of Legends. It's not a bad game. It's not as bad as I'm making it out to be here. No, not at all. You can have some fun with it, but you know, I just want to say that there are better games that are willing to be explored if you just give them a try. We're all living in a time where if something isn't immediately rewarding to us, we feel like we've wasted our money, and I feel like it is because of these games where we see people get good at them only to be disappointed when they buy another game because they're not as good at it. You see where I'm going with this? You have to eat your broccoli before you get dessert. And the reason why I care about this so much is because it makes me genuinely sad to see these games with somewhat high barriers to entry disappear in favor of games that give you this shallow sense of gratification. I'm not talking about the games that are easy to get into but difficult to master. I'm talking about the games that aren't afraid to kick your ass before you eventually start to get good at them. I'm talking your Quakes, your Rainbow Six Sieges, Dirty Bomb, Dark Souls, to name a few. Meanwhile, you have games like Call of Duty where it isn't necessarily the people's fault for buying the games en masse. It's just that they sort of need to be more aware and learn of how and why they actually like these games. There's a clear difference between the shallow and meaningless instant gratification you get from games like Call of Duty and actually feeling fulfilled by getting good at a game where you can pull off cool and interesting stuff. And it's frustrating because games, while not so much anymore, tried to emulate Call of Duty for the longest time, which only resulted in games that didn't appeal to anyone. Fortunately for us, it has become less of a trend nowadays, and we're actually starting to see good games flood the market that are refreshing. Situations like the one last year when people said they were switching their main game to Overwatch from League of Legends, like it's some sort of commitment to play out the game. Okay, look, I don't want to tell you how to spend your money, but I just want to say that if you feel like you could have had a lot of fun with a game that you really want to buy, then go ahead, try to convince your friends to buy the game, because games are just better with friends, right? And just have some fun. It's better than missing out on that opportunity in favor of continuing to play the same game over and over again, not taking any risks. Variety is the spice of life after all. Buying games for me is like paying to go on a roller coaster. Yeah, I could easily pass it off as a waste of time and money because I can get some enjoyment out of something else, but if you don't decide to go on it, won't you just be the least bit upset of not even knowing what it feels like to have rode that damn roller coaster? And you never know, if you continue to buy games that you're interested in, you might eventually find something that you really like and want to stick with for a long time. But if you stick to the same old worn out game for the rest of your life, you get the point. I guess it is about taking risks. We don't want to waste our money on a game we'll ultimately regret buying. But like I said before, if you don't give a game a fair chance, then of course you're not going to like it immediately. I find that the most fun and rewarding games I play right now are the ones that kicked my ass in the first few hours learning how to play. Look at reviews, get an idea of the game before you buy. Stop playing it so damn safe. Which I can honestly understand if you've been burned out by all the shitty games coming out recently, but there is never going to be a game that you'll want want if you hold every one of them to this ridiculously high standard. There will never be the one ultimate game that you will only need. The idea of such a game doesn't even make sense really when you think about it, because, you know, we're always going to want variety, and no game can provide endless amounts of variety. Am I right? Now is a good year to be a gamer, with many games that can offer that variety at a fair price. Let's enjoy this great time by indulging in some of the greatest new experiences on offer together. Each game is a new experience, and by no means is a waste of time or money if you end up enjoying it. You can't do half the shit you can do in video games, and that's what makes them so enticing. So let's just lay back, pick up a controller, and have some fun.